The realities of an oversized penis. Let's talk about something most people are too shy to address openly. Something that society has filled with jokes, myths, and wild expectations. And that is, the realities of an oversized penis. Now, if you say those words in a room, people laugh, they smirk, they make comments. Because the world has decided that this topic is taboo yet fascinating at the same time. But beneath the laughter and the fantasy, there are truths, serious truths, that rarely get discussed. So today, we're breaking it down. No sugarcoating, no myths, just real talk about what it actually means to live with this reality. And to keep us grounded, I'm going to walk you through it step by step. 1. The physical challenges are real. When people imagine an oversized penis, they imagine confidence, power, endless pleasure. But the reality is not that simple. In fact, the first challenge is purely physical. Think about it. Condoms often don't fit right. They're either too tight or too short, and that creates risk. The risk of discomfort, the risk of breakage, the risk of unsafe sex. Now add to that the fact that many sexual positions become complicated. What's pleasurable for someone else can suddenly become painful. A partner may flinch, pull away, or feel anxious before intimacy even begins. Instead of creating connection, the man starts worrying about hurting the person he's with. And that stress, it takes the joy out of the experience. What people don't see is that a body that looks like an advantage on the outside can often feel like a burden in private. That's the first reality. Bigger is not always easier. 2. Performance pressure is heavy. The second reality, the enormous weight of expectation. Society has built this belief that if a man has an oversized penis, he must be some sort of sexual superhero. That he should know exactly what to do. That he should always deliver mind-blowing experiences. That he can never fail. But that's not how life works. And when you carry around that kind of expectation, it creates crushing pressure. Imagine walking into every intimate encounter feeling like you're about to take an exam you can't afford to fail. Instead of being present in the moment, you're overthinking. Instead of connecting, you're performing. And here's the truth. Sex is not about performance. It's about presence, vulnerability, trust. When pressure replaces those things, nobody wins. 3. Emotional intimacy can get lost. The third reality is emotional. Many men with oversized penises experience a strange kind of objectification. They stop being seen as whole people, and instead they're reduced to one body part. People become fascinated with size and forget the person. For a man, that creates doubt. He begins to ask, do they like me for who I am? Or are they just interested in the novelty of my body? That kind of question eats away at emotional safety. And without emotional safety, true intimacy is impossible. Sex isn't just physical, it's deeply emotional. And when one partner feels like a curiosity instead of a human being, closeness fades. The very thing that should bring connection ends up building distance. 4. The relationship struggles are complicated. The fourth reality is that oversized penises don't just affect one person, they affect both partners, and sometimes the entire relationship. For the man, there's worry. Am I going to hurt them? Will this be too much? Should I hold back? For the partner, there's often hesitation. Will this be painful? Will I be able to handle this? That back and forth creates tension instead of ease. And when intimacy becomes something that feels like a risk instead of a joy, relationships begin to strain. Both people may start to avoid it. Resentment grows, attraction suffers, and what could have been passion turns into silence. That's the hidden truth. Bigger doesn't just create challenges in the bedroom. It creates ripple effects in communication, confidence, and long-term partnership. 5. Communication becomes more important than ever. Here's where things shift. The men who thrive with oversized penises, the ones who build fulfilling sex lives and strong relationships, aren't the ones who rely on ego. They're the ones who embrace communication. They slow down. They talk to their partners. They ask, what feels good? What doesn't? What do you need? And they're willing to adjust. They realize that sex isn't about showing off, it's about making both people feel safe, respected, and satisfied. This kind of communication creates trust. And trust is the foundation of intimacy. Without it, size becomes a barrier. With it, size becomes manageable. That's the difference between frustration and fulfillment. 6. Confidence isn't about inches. Another major reality is that confidence is often misplaced. Too many men, whether oversized, undersized, or average, tie their confidence to what's between their legs. But think about it. What sustains desire in a relationship? It's not measurement. It's presence. It's respect. It's humor, kindness, the ability to listen, and the ability to connect. Yes, an oversized penis might get initial attention. But attention fades quickly if the person behind it lacks substance. Real confidence doesn't come from body parts. It comes from how you carry yourself, how you treat others, and how you show up in moments that matter. That's what leaves a lasting impression. That's what partners remember. Not inches, but intimacy. 7. Myths must be replaced with truths. This brings us to the 7th reality. Myths are everywhere, and they need to be replaced with truth. The myth says bigger is always better. The truth says bigger comes with its own set of problems. The myth says oversized means superior in bed. The truth says skill, empathy, and communication matter more than size ever will. The myth says confidence comes from measurements. The truth says confidence is built from character. When we replace myths with truths, we take away unnecessary shame and unrealistic expectations. And in that space, people can finally experience sex for what it should be: connection, joy, and intimacy. 8. The real takeaway. So what's the big lesson here? It's that sex, intimacy, and relationships are never about size. They're about how you show up, how you connect, and how you make someone feel. Yes, an oversized penis is real. Yes, it comes with challenges. But those challenges are not insurmountable. They simply demand more awareness, more empathy, and more communication. At the end of the day, great sex isn't measured by inches. It's measured by how safe, loved, and satisfied both people feel. Confidence isn't built from body parts, it's built from how you live, how you love, and how you show up for the people around you. That is the reality. That is the truth. And it's time we stop whispering about it and start talking about it, because when we strip away the myths, what we're left with is honesty. And honesty is the foundation of real intimacy.